Hello everyone. Today we are gonna look at one of the modes of block cipher called counter mode. Let's look at the encryption technique used for the counter mode. First, we need to take a nonce value and concatenate it with a counter value initialized as 1. This nonce value is any random natural number. Then we can encrypt the counter using the key implementing ICE encryption. The encrypted counter is then XO read with the plaintext block to get the ciphertext block. For every iteration of encryption until the whole plaintext is converted to ciphertext, the counter value is incremented by 1 each time. It is worth noting that all the plaintext, ciphertext, counter value and the key have the same bit length. One advantage of using blocks is if a particular block of message is corrupted, the other remains intact. The damaged message can later be retrieved using some correction techniques. The following diagram shows the flow of encryption process for counter mode. It can be seen that the nonce value concatenated with the counter value is first encrypted with the key using ICE encryption and the output is XO read with the plaintext block to get the ciphertext block. The process iterates until n number of plaintext blocks are encrypted with incrementing counter value each time. Now, let us look at an example of encryption. Note that the nonce bit length and the counter bit length add up to 8 bits to match the size of the key and the plaintext bit length to produce the same ciphertext bit length. The respective values are put into correct boxes to illustrate the flow. The next few examples show the same way how other plaintext blocks are encrypted. The decryption technique is exactly the same as the encryption technique except for this time the XO read of the encrypted counter is done with the ciphertext block instead of the plaintext block to get the plaintext block. Interestingly, it can be noted that the decryption technique also uses the encryption process with the only difference being the block type. As you can see, the following diagram has a slight change where the plaintext block is in the ciphertext block position. The rest is the same. The following examples show the decryption of a ciphertext block to plaintext block using the same technique as of encryption where the block types are now swapped to get resultant output. On a concluding note, we can express the encryption and decryption by the following formula. A ciphertext block is the result of encryption of a counter concatenated with a nonce value using a key and the output is XO read with the plaintext block. The vice versa applies to the plaintext block. The nonce value is a one-time used random natural number. The bit lengths of the variables must be equal. And, last but not least, for each iteration, the counter value must be incremented by 1.